Hello, 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 and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour on this fabulous Friday. Fabulous Friday. Fabulous Friday. Welcome, everybody. So glad to see you. If you do not know who this dancing person is on your screen, this is Miss Hope of Miss Hope's Reading Hour, and it is our Fabulous Friday broadcast. So glad to be here with you all this evening. So, my friends, how was your week? Hopefully you had a great week and you did well. Hello, Jocelyn. Hi. So glad that you could be here. Hopefully you had a great week. I know that Jocelyn and all of her friends had a great Friday today because here in Philadelphia, we end school early on Fridays because we have virtual school. So hopefully for all of my young ones who are still in school from pre-K to 12th grade, hopefully you've had a wonderful week in school this week. Oh, that's so good to know, Jocelyn. I'm so glad that you had a great week. Well, my friends, today is the 12th, and what is that day? Now, I know I don't quite have on the color of the day, but it's close, okay? So, the day that is coming up on Sunday is, okay, let me see if I can make it. There we go. I did it. It will be Valentine's Day on Sunday. So today we will be reading some books about love, okay? And it is still Black History Month. Happy Black History Month, everybody. Remember, Black history, everybody should learn about it. Everybody's history. Everybody's history is everybody's history because we learn something from it, right? So, happy Black History Month to everyone. And since it is still Black History Month, we will be mixing Valentine's Day and Black History Month. You will see how we will do it when you see our first two books. Now, before we get into the books and everything, the music that you hear and the books we will read today, unfortunately, Miss Hope's Reading Hour does not own the rights to the music or the books, but what are they here for? Your listening and reading enjoyment. So hopefully you will enjoy while we are reading. Also, though we got a shipment of books, and the two books we will be reading today are from that brand spanking new shipment, okay? Excuse me. We always need more books. I do believe I have another shopping cart that is full of books. And I have to decide which ones am I going to keep, which ones am I going to let go. And that's what happens on Miss Hope's Reading Hour when donations don't come in. Guess who donations are? I'm donations, okay? But I love it. I love it because I love all of the books that we get to read here with you guys. But if you would love to help Miss Hope fill the shelves of Miss Hope's Reading Hour library, take a look down here at the ticker. In the ticker, as it rolls by, of course, we are saying Happy Black History Month. We are saying that. But also, after that, you can donate to Miss Hope's Reading Hour via Cash App. The Cash App is Hope GM, HOPEGM, all one word, all lowercase. Any amount that you want to donate is greatly appreciated. And also, there it is, at that email address that's in the ticker. If you want to send digital gift cards, you can do that as well. And if you would like to send books straight to me, email me at that email address and I can let you know how you can send those books straight to me. Okay? Now, my friends, let us get to these books. Okay? So our first book is called Helga's Dowry, a troll love story. This book is by Tommy DePaula. I love this picture. Like when I saw it online, I was like, that looks cute. I want to read it. So, Helga's Dowry, a troll love story. This is a Houghton Mifflin Harcourt book. And our next book is called Big Boy. Yeah, I know you're probably wondering, how is this about love? You will find out. You will find out. Big Boy. This book is by Talawa M. Mulel. Big Boy. And it's illustrated by E.B. Lewis. Well, when we open the book, we will find out, and I will let you know who the publisher of this book is as well. Also, friends, we are so close to the end. We are so stinking close to the end. Let me show you how far we have to go. We might be done before the end of next week. We might be done. Look at that. That's it. That's all we got to go on. That's it right there. See that? That's all. That's all we have. 4. What book is it? Oh boy. Who stole New Year's Eve? We got to find out who did it. There have been so many clues, so many questions, and probably not until the last 2.5 chapters are we going to find out how everything goes together. And we'll probably be surprised in some type of way. I will tell you truthfully, I was tempted to read ahead. I was, but I didn't. I was good. I didn't read ahead. I want us to share in the surprise. Okay? Now, let us get to this first story. Helga's Dowry, a troll love story by Tommy DePaula. Right? You know, we got to do the new book bend so that we can see all the pictures, right? Helga was the loveliest troll in 3 parishes. But alas, having been orphaned as a troll child, she was also the poorest. So when handsome Lars asked for her hand in marriage, turn that down a little bit, Helga said, "But Lars, I don't have a dowry. How can we marry without one? It is the law." "Don't worry," said Lars, with moonstruck eyes. "I'll ask old rich Sven. He might have an idea." So in some cultures, people have to have a dowry, meaning like money and valuables, so that they can get married. Sometimes the wife needs to have it, and sometimes the husband needs to have it in order to have a wife. Old rich Sven did have an idea. "Lars, my boy, you should marry my daughter, plain Inga." Lars laughed and laughed until old Sven counted out Inga's dowry. 30 cows, 3 chests of gold, and a mountain pasture, he said. "She'll make you a good wife and the richest troll in the land, except for the troll queen, the troll king, of course." Plain Inga was so thrilled with the idea of becoming Lars's wife that she ran around telling everyone, including Helga. When Helga heard the news, she burst into tears and caused a thunderstorm. "I'm sorry, Helga," said Lars. "You'll always have a special place in my heart, But you know how important it is for a troll man to be rich, especially a handsome one. Oh man, Lars? Really? Dang. Mm-mm-mm. Poor Helga. Didn't one-eyed Odin say 1,000 years ago from his heaven throne that all unmarried troll maidens must wander the earth forever? She sat beneath the troll bridge to think. Oh, pish, she said at last. Why should I sit here and pout? I'm a troll, and a clever one at that. I'll just go out and earn myself a dowry. So Helga wrote a note to Lars and asked him please to wait for her. Then she put some troll things from her cupboard into a cart, tucked up her tail, stepped into some high-soled shoes, and went hopping down the mountain into the land of people. Some people are lazy, some people are vain, some people are greedy. It's all Helga's game, she hummed to herself as she clocked along. Aha! Here's a good place to start, said Helga, looking at the piles of laundry. And no smoke coming out of the wash house chimney either. Any laundry for a poor washerwoman? Helga asked the farm wife, who was sunning herself. I certainly have, said the farm wife. What do you charge? Helga spied the cows in the pasture. Do you want to take a chance? Helga asked. If I don't finish all the laundry by sundown, you won't owe me a penny. But if you do, you must pay me 35 cows. Ironing too? Asked the farm wife. Of course, said Helga. Nothing like free laundry, hummed the farm wife as she heaped even more laundry on the mountains of dirty laundry. Wow, that is a lot of laundry to wash. Can you do it, Helga? A lazy farm wife sitting in the sun, troll powder and water, and the wash is done. Troll wax on the iron, and the wrinkles are flat. Helga has her cows, and that is that, sang Helga, climbing up the mountain with her cows. That is pretty amazing. It's a lot of laundry. Now for the gold. Now for the gold, said Helga the next morning as she put on a turban and a fancy cloak. She piled 4 wooden chests on the cart and went rumbling down the mountain into the people's marketplace. Be young and beautiful again, cried Helga, all for 1 ounce of gold. The ladies of the town, and a few men too, dropped gold earrings, bracelets, watches, chains, and lockets onto the scales. Rub this Juvenescent cream all over your face. Wait a few minutes and look, said Helga, passing out jars and mirrors to her customers. I'll take 3, one woman said excitedly. Nothing like being young again. Young and beautiful again, said a man. Oh, I wonder if the cream will actually work. Helga could sell it now. Rub a little troll grease on the chin and cheek. Polish up a troll mirror and then take a peek. Find some vain people who hate looking old. And Helga's 4 chests are filled with gold, trilled Helga, pushing her cart home. And now the hardest task of all, she said, walking down the mountain early the next morning. Oh, the hardest one. She's got to find. What do you think it is she has to find? I know what it is. She knocked on the door of a rich man's house. All those trees on your mountain there could make you twice as rich, Helga said. Twice as rich? The man asked. If they were logs cut and split, said Helga. Madame, it would take 100 men to do such work. Don't you know what labor costs? I'll make you a bargain then, said Helga. If I can clear those trees all in a week, will you give me the land they're on? Madame, you're a woman, explained the man. So what? Said Helga. And a loony one at that, the man said to himself. But it's worth a try. Nothing like free labor. He does not know Helga. Oh, what luck to find a greedy man. And now I'll chop as fast as I can. I'll swing my troll axe so sharp and fine, and the mountain pasture will soon be mine, warbled Helga. She chopped and chopped, but the forest seemed to grow larger every day that Helga worked. I'd almost think there was trollery afoot, said Helga, pausing to catch a breath. There is, said a tree with a laugh that shook all its branches. Plain Inga, said Helga. Oh, Plain Inga has found out what she's been doing. Oh no. I see you out here trying to earn a dowry, bellowed Inga, who had turned herself into a tree. A dowry earned is as good as a dowry given, shouted back Helga. I'll make sure there's no dowry earned, yelled Tree Inga. Besides, our wedding is tomorrow. Lars couldn't wait. That did it. Helga was furious. I'll turn you into kindling wood, cried Helga, who promptly turned herself into a boulder. Rolling down the mountainside, Boulder Helga headed for Tree Inga, but Tree Inga just moved aside. Madder than ever, Boulder Helga rolled up the mountainside to get a better start. But when she came tumbling down again, Tree Inga moved aside once more. Oh boy. Such crazy things happening with magical characters. All day the battle raged, the air filled with flying timber. Oh ho ho. I think I know what may happen now. Then suddenly it was quiet. Helga changed back into herself again, and Tree Inga shook with laughter. Giving up? She asked. You'll see, answered Helga, walking off to the rich man's house. The rich man could not believe his eyes. The mountainside was completely cleared of trees, except one. That one will be gone before the day is over, said Helga. She has to get to a wedding. She? A wedding? The rich man asked. Yes, said Helga. And then the mountain pasture will be mine. The rich man had to agree. She didn't even have to do the chopping. All she had to do was rolling. Oh, come on, page. New book pages. Oh. New book pages. New book pages. Uh-oh. Wow, they are really stuck together. Okay. "Oh, Helga, my dearest one," said Lars, who came running when he heard the news. "Your dowry is even larger than Inga's, and I love you more than ever. There will be a wedding tomorrow, but it won't be Inga's." "It won't be mine either," cried Helga. "I won't marry you if you were the last troll on earth. I'd rather be doomed to wander forever than be your wife. You never planned to wait for me. I want to be loved for who I am, not for what I've got." "Then marry me, for I already love you for who you are," a voice said, a voice behind them. "Besides, I have no need of riches." Oh, wow. The next day, there were 2 weddings. "Here comes the bride, all dressed in green," sang the trolls. "Our king is getting married, and Helga is our queen." Wow. Amazing. The end. Wow. That was such a good story. Such a good story. And it teaches a very good lesson. Now, we are learning about love today. But one thing that we learned from Helga's dowry is you have to love yourself. And you have to learn how to not have to work for love so much. Someone who wants to love you should love you for you, not just what you have, but for who you are. And if you got to work that hard to get somebody to love you, then maybe they're not the person for you. My young ones, this goes for your friends too. I've seen it sometimes when I work in schools. And people want to be your friends because you always come to school with the big bag of snacks, or you always have the new toys, or you have the new handheld game system, or you have a new tablet, and then everyone wants to be your friend. But then they don't want to be your friend when you don't have the snacks or you don't have all the other stuff. But if they really want to be your friend, if they really are true friends, they will be your friend regardless of any of that stuff that you have. No matter what you wear, how many toys you have, how many snacks, none of that will matter. They will want to be friends with you because of you. And people will want to love you for who you are, not for what you have. Oh, that was a really good story. Now to our next one, Big Boy by Talawa M. Molel. That's the thing about new book pages. New book pages sometimes, you got to bend them a little bit. Oli didn't want to eat his ugali. He didn't want to take a nap. He wanted to go bird hunting in the woods with his big brother Mbachu. His mama said no. "You are too little," she told him. Oli protested and hung on to his brother, but Mbachu shook him off and left for the woods, dangling his slingshot proudly around his neck. I meant to change the ambiance music. There we go. Mama spoke soothingly to Ollie. Here, finish your lunch and drink some water. After lunch, singing quietly, she carried him to bed. When will I be big, Mama? Ollie asked. Mama smiled. Only after many more naps, little one. I am tired of being a little one, grumbled Ollie. But you are my only little one, Mama said, draping her colorful kanga over him. Who else could I sing to and tell stories? Alone in the room, Ollie stared at the smoke-darkened ceiling and wished he were big. Big enough to do without a nap. Big enough to walk side by side with his brother in the woods. No, even bigger. Big enough to lead the way, Mbachu huffing and puffing to catch up. Ollie sat up and listened. All was quiet. From under the mattress, he pulled out his slingshot. Then he sneaked out of the house. Oh no, that's not a good idea. Soon he was in the shadowy depths of the woods. The air rang with bird talk and millions of other sounds. Suddenly, Ollie stopped. A dozen feet away, on a wild raspberry bush, sat a magnificent bird. It had a long, twitchy tail and striking silver wings. Ollie raised his slingshot, but the bird hopped from one bush to another, and Ollie followed. Finally, the bird perched on a branch of a giant baobab tree. Ollie was so tired, he sat down at the foot of the tree to watch the bird. And then he had an idea. I'll get closer for a good shot, he thought. Soundlessly, he climbed up the tree. All at once, the bird turned and looked right at Ollie. Ollie gasped in surprise. It was a Tunukia Zawadi. He recognized the magical bird from his mama's supper-time stories. Tunukia Zawadi bestowed upon wishers untold gifts and powers. Well, murmured Tunukia Zawadi, what is your wish? Oh, I want to be big, big as a mountain and strong as the wind. How Mbachu would envy me. Are you sure that's what you want? Yes. Have your wish, chirped Tunukia Zawadi. And as Tunukia Zawadi flew away, there was a loud crack, and the branch Ollie was sitting on broke under him. Ollie picked himself up and took one giant step. Immediately, he was back in town, on a street by the market in front of his Baba's butcher shop. Mbachu gawked at him. Customers marveled. His mama gasped, Ollie, look at you. What happened? Cried Baba. Ollie proudly told them. Then he said, I want to see the world. A drum shall be my companion. With 2 ox hides and a huge water barrel, he made a big, booming drum. Wow, he is huge. Have some food before you go, suggested his mama. But Ollie couldn't wait to show the world how big he was. He pushed out his chest, beat his drum, and replied, I'm so big I broke a giant baobab, tun tun. And one step took me home from the woods, tun tun. Food, tun tun. I need no food, tun tun. Off he marched to the beat of the drum. He strode from hill to hill toward a thick grove of puyu trees, raising a cloud of dust. Ch, 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 he sneezed. The next moment, he stared in panic as a herd of elephants stampeded out of the grove. But they only brushed his legs. Wow, he is big if they only brushed his legs. Look at how tiny those elephants are. Oli hopped over the kuyu trees and continued his journey. He came to a dry village where water sellers tried to sell him some water. You are so close to the sun, you must be dying of thirst, they said. Oli marched on, replying, I am so big I broke a baobab, tun tun. One step took me home from the woods, tun tun. One sneeze set off a stampede, tun tun. Water, tun tun. I have no need, tun tun. Oh, yes. Oh, wow, look at that little thing of water. He would drink that in like less than one sip. It's only a little tiny thing of water. He doesn't need that. A path led Oli through a village. Sorry. He felt so happy and free, he jumped for joy. When he landed, the earth shook. Boulders from a mountain came crashing down toward him. He jumped frantically out of the way, but one boulder bruised his toe. As he examined the bruise, he noticed how tattered his shoes were. Looking up, he saw a city ahead. I'll go get myself new shoes, Oli decided. New, tougher shoes. Where is he going to get shoes that big? That I wonder. I mean, he's really big. He's bigger than an elephant. In the city, Oli found a shoemaker and asked for a pair of iron shoes. Iron shoes, asked the shoemaker. Leather shoes would be more comfortable. Oli shook his head and replied, I am so big, I broke a giant baobab, tun tun. One step took me home from the woods, tun tun. And one sneeze set off a stampede, tun tun. And one jump started a mountain slide, tun tun. Leather, tun tun. I have no need for such shoes, tun tun. So all the city's shoemakers and blacksmiths worked all day and night to make the iron shoes. At the dawn of the third day, they presented the shoes to Oli and wished him well. They had to be some pretty heavy shoes. As Oli marched on, the sun climbed into the sky and heated his iron shoes. At midday, he came to a poor fishing town. The sea was filled with boats, the fishermen selling fish on the beach. To cool his feet, Oli jumped into the deep sea. A tidal wave rose high and almost drowned him. Then the wave swept ashore, drenching the fishermen and swamping their old rickety boats. Oli emerged from the sea, coughing and gasping for air. He felt bad at the sight of the soaked fishermen and their wrecked boats and asked what he could do to help. Bring us wood to build new, better boats, said the fisherman. Sir, you are big. You can't just cannonball into the sea, you know. Oli set out to find wood, but his steps seemed shorter than before, his iron shoes heavier, and the drum less booming. His giant steps brought him to a canyon. He leaped across, barely reaching the other side. His toe throbbed with pain. He stared at the savannah, stretched out, hot and endless. Now where could he find wood? Oli thought of his close brush with the stampeding animals. He thought of the boulder bruising his toe. He thought of the hot iron shoes and the tidal wave that had nearly drowned him. I am so tired, he said, yawning, and sat down to rest. I wish I didn't have to find wood. A bird chirped overhead. Tukunia Zawadi's tail gave a funny little twitch. Down, down floated a feather. It touched Oli's face. Ooh, he looks plumb tuckered out. And he awoke in his mama's arms at the foot of the baobab tree. She held him tight, trembling. Oli, Oli, we looked all over for you. Oli heard Mbachu calling, Baba, Baba, he is here. Here he is. And a moment later, there stood Baba. He looked annoyed, but Oli could tell he was also glad. Mama got to her feet. Let's take him home, she said. Baba nodded, and with relief, he said, thank heaven, he's safe and sound. Strapped to Mama's back, Oli watched his Baba heading silently back to town. At Baba's side walked Mbachu, much too big to be on anyone's back. Oli grinned. How Mbachu must envy him. He snuggled tighter to his mama. It was good to be little, thought Oli. Sometimes. The end. The story of Big Boy by Taloa and Molel. So again, we were talking about love today, but not just completely in the sense of the Valentine's Day love that we think about. So sometimes we can think of love, especially my young ones, in the love of your parents. And sometimes your parents love you enough to tell you that you can't do things that you think you can do. They tell you, maybe if you want to say, Mom, Dad, I want to cook something on the stove. And your parents say, you're a little too little, you're not ready. Or I haven't worked, had you working in the kitchen with me, so you can't use the stove quite yet. Or your mom or dad has somewhere to go and they say, you have to come with us. We have to get you a babysitter. And you say, no, Mom, Dad, I can stay home by myself. But you're not quite ready to stay home by yourself. Sometimes it can feel like a drag, but your parents and those who love you have had more experience in life than you, and they love you enough to want to keep you safe. So that is why they tell you, no, you're not quite ready when you're a little older, and they know you got time, okay? So don't rush to be older. Young ones will tell you a secret. my adult friends, my older young ones, close your ears. It's not always as fun as you think to be older. Just put that there. And Oli realized that when he got to snuggle in on his mom's back and get carried back home, right? So sometimes when it's not quite so fun, when your parents tell you you can't do something yet, or you're not old enough or big enough to do something yet, they're only doing that because of their great, great love for you and wanting you to be safe. Because though it would make you happy to do what it is that you want to do right now, it would make them devastatingly sad if anything ever happened to you, because nothing can replace you, and their love for you is priceless. Okay? Great stories today about love, loving yourself, teaching people that you have to love people not for what they have, but for who they are, and to appreciate the love of your parents and the older people in your life who want to keep you safe, even when you think you're ready to do something that you might not be quite ready to do. Great story. So glad that we got to read those together today. Now, my friends, you know where we are. We're there. We got to find out some more stuff. Hopefully. Okay, how many chapters we got left? So today we're going to be on chapter 21. There are, so, oh, is it 30 chapters? It's 30? I think it might be 30. 32. Okay, so we're on 22. We got 10 more chapters, but they're short. So probably by the next Fabulous Friday, we'll be done. We will find out who stole Ice Eve and why. Okay, so in our last chapter 21. Now remember, in chapter 20, someone called Eve's phone, told Eve while she was with Alex and with Sophie, told her to go to the house around the corner. Well, the house around the corner that was being built, and that she would find the little lady there. So they think they're going to find Ice Eve. No, they don't find Ice Eve. They find one of the 7 ladies dancing from the 12 Days of Christmas display. Why is that in here? There's got to be a reason. And Sophie's little brother saw kid footprints all in the mud and the snow. So they think it's a kid that might be doing this or might have stole the decoration. But we still don't know where Ice Eve is, where the other 18 ice sculptures are. Who is afraid of things exploding in the road in College Springs? Who the tipster is? There's a lot we don't know. Let's get to it, friends. Chapter 22 of Who Stole New Year's Eve. Eve's Frisbee. Eve's Frisbee. Eve's Frisbee. I repeated it every time my boots hit the ground on the jog home. Through the front door, off with the boots, hi to Dad, and grab the Frisbee. But first, since the parade was a costume pet parade, I needed a costume for my pet. And when I looked at the clock in the front hall, I realized I had approximately 45 seconds to find one, and then another 45 to attach it. I took the stairs 2 at once, wishing for the first time in my life that more girls lived in my house. Girls often own dolls, and doll clothes kind of fit if you put them on a cat. Since the coolest thing I have to a sister is mom, I passed my bedroom door and kept going till I got to my parents. Then, thinking silent apologies to mom, I opened a couple of her dresser drawers, hoping for inspiration. Aha! 5 seconds later, I was running back down the stairs, thinking that maybe instead of growing up to be a firefighter or a comedy writer, I would grow up to be a costume designer for animals that star in commercials. That's gotta pay well, right? I mean, I think I just might have a knack for this. In the den, I found that Luau hadn't moved from his spot on the Afghan on the sofa. 5 golden rings, the Christmas carol sang. 4 calling birds, 3. The sofa is by the window, so you can hear the song from there. During the holidays, it's the official soundtrack of life on Chickadee Court. When I came into the den, Luau opened his eyes, stretched his paws, and looked up. In my hand was a silk scarf with pictures of lions on it. Luau yawned and probably would have made some kind of snarky comment, but I didn't give him time. Hold still and don't ask questions, I said. Luau blinked a slow blink. Don't catnap victims get a last request? Then he hiccuped, which was kind of strange, and I squinted, which meant, excuse me. It's only temporary, I said. I should have told you sooner, but it's been a crazy day. Fiddling with the scarf and a big pin made of red fake jewels, I explained about the parade. You're going as king of the jungle. Maybe you'll win a prize. You'd like that, right? Luau didn't answer, just hiccuped again. Meanwhile, I kept trying to adjust the pin until, ow, I pinned myself. Luau didn't say anything to that either. He must really be annoyed, I thought. Okay, sorry, but you gotta stand up or I can't get this straight. I should be able to make a crown out of something, right? But for now, see, this is your cape. I grasped Luau under his front legs and tried to pull him up, but he wouldn't pull. That's when I looked into his face. His eyes were open, but they looked weird, as if they weren't aimed right. There were dribbles of cat spit on his chin, and his nose, which is usually pink, looked more like gray. Luau, buddy, are you okay? Luau looked up at me and focused briefly. Not feeling so, he started to say, and then he went limp. Dad? All kinds of horrible things went through my head while Dad was examining Luau. The main one was that I couldn't imagine life without my cat. We've always been together. We understand each other. But then Dad stood up and said, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's awake now, and his breathing is okay. Probably a virus or something. To be safe, I think I'll run him to the vet. Do you want to come? I nodded. I'll call over to Eves and tell her I can't go to the parade. Oh, hey, wait. I forgot the parade, Dad said. Look, you don't have to come to the vet. Luau's ordinarily a very healthy cat, so whatever this is, he'll fight it off. Mom's gonna try to make the parade, so I can call and tell her to tell you what the vet says. If she doesn't care, I'll call Sophie. Really? I felt bad about abandoning Luau when he was sick. But wouldn't I be abandoning Eve and Sophie if I skipped on the parade? And it wasn't an emergency with Luau, right? Okay, you promised to call? I stroked Luau's back and told him to get better. His answer was a weak sounding, That for once, I couldn't translate. Chapter 23. Out the door I ran, past our swans and the Lee's geese, boots pounding the pavement. In the Henrys' driveway, their SUV was waiting with the motor running. I saw it, and at the same time remembered Eve's frisbee. Oh, cripes. They were going to kill me. But it would be worse if I didn't bring the frisbee. Without breaking stride, I made a U-turn. 2 minutes later, I was heading back toward the Henrys with Eve's birthday present under my arm. What a day! I had been late to every single thing so far, and now I was late again. Eve, Sophie, and Eve's mom were in the car waiting. Marshmallow was barking in the pet carrier in the back. Let me out of here! Where's Luau? Eve asked as I climbed into the back seat next to Sophie. And why do you keep being late? Sophie wanted to know. I had about half a zillion things to do when I got home. And I got here on time. And now you didn't even remember your very own cat? And I really think you... I tugged my earlobes, but Sophie kept right on talking. Finally, she had to breathe, and I apologized and explained about Luau. I admit, I made him sound a little more deathly sick than he actually was, so Sophie would shut up about me being late. It worked too, because then everybody got all worried and made a bunch of poor kitty comments, and I had to reassure them he'll be okay. Then I changed the subject by handing Eve's birthday present to her up in the front passenger seat. When she took it, she acted kind of girly. For me? Oh, that's so sweet, Alex. You shouldn't have. Next to me, Sophie pretended to stick her finger down her throat. Meanwhile, Eve unwrapped her gift and squealed, "Oh, Alex, I just totally love it." You knew what it was already, I said. Yes, she said, but it's still special. Mrs. Henry made the right turn from chickadee onto groundhog. A frisbee like that is a great gift, Alex, she said. The girls told me about your plan for a parade entry. I'm sure it'll look terrific. Do you think anybody else is even going to show up? Sophie asked. It's going to be kind of depressing if it's just the three of us playing frisbee toss with Marshmallow. On the plus side, I said, we'll win all the ribbons. Hey, you're right, said Sophie. This is a win-win situation. What's Marshmallow's costume anyway, Eve? He's going as a little white dog with a sparkly red bandana, Eve said. It was the best I could do on short notice. It's brilliant, said Sophie. Sophie, could you be done with the sarcasm, I said. What sarcasm, Sophie said. And anyway, the bandana has sparkles, Eve pointed out. Is there an update on the case, guys? Mrs. Henry asked. You've been so busy all day. Eve said you'd tell me in the car. On our way down Groundhog, we told her about the video conference with her brother, Mr. Yoder, and about the sunflower seed crud. Then I said we'd figured out that whoever stole the ice sculptures downtown must have been super efficient and well organized, because he or she didn't have a very long time between police patrols to pick up the sculptures and haul them away. And the girls explained what the Chickadee Court neighbors had seen and heard. When Sophie mentioned the part about the Blanco's barking dog, Mrs. Henry laughed. Marshmallow must have been asleep on the job. Eve looked over her shoulder at Sophie and me. She was frowning. Yeah, that's strange, she said. Marshmallow usually always... But what Marshmallow usually always does, we'll never know, because Mrs. Henry said, hold on, and braked suddenly. causing us all to lurch forward against our seatbelts and Marshmallow to yip furiously from his crate. Sorry, said Mrs. Henry. What's with all this traffic anyway? Sophie waved her arms as if she could clear the path. We are in a hurry. Move, people. They can't hear you, Sophie, I pointed out. Only we can hear you. Mrs. Henry said, maybe there was an accident. Did you find out anything else? Not really, I said. I mean, we went over to the unfinished house and rescued the lady dancing, but I don't think she had anything to do with Ice Eve. I think somebody was just messing with us. Mrs. Henry nodded. I see. And from the way she said it, you could tell her point was really, you kids have had a whole day to work on this and you haven't made much progress, have you? All right. Oh, I want to read 24. Oh, so we're going to end there, my friends. So now, this is where we are. So he goes home. Alex goes home to get Luau. Luau is sick from something and we don't know what it is. But remember, Luau has been going over to Yasmin's house because Yasmin has been coming and picking up Luau and taking him who knows where. Okay, then, of course, Alex almost forgets the Frisbee, turns around, gets it. Then they're almost to the pet parade that should have been the ice carnival. And there's a traffic jam, which we have never heard about in College Springs because it's such a small town. Why is there a traffic jam? More questions, more clues, and more questions. We got to find out what's going on, y'all. But I will be good and I will not read ahead. I won't, I promise. Well, my friends, thank you so much for being here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour with me on this Fabulous FRI-YAY before Valentine's Day on Sunday. Hopefully, you will find a way to show your love to those who are around you that you love, and maybe to show love to someone that you don't even know. I'm going to tell you something you can do. If you want to, which you should, there is a hospital in the United States called St. Jude's. St. Jude's Children's Hospital is a hospital for children with cancer. And there is a way that you can go online and send a child from St. Jude a Valentine for free. You don't even have to pay for it. So while you are buying candies and gifts and making food and giving hugs and kisses to all the people that you love, take a few minutes and make a beautiful Valentine's Day card for some children and families who are going through a tough time because they are fighting cancer. And St. Jude is a wonderful hospital who doesn't charge families a dime to take care of their little lovelies while they are fighting cancer. So that is my assignment for you this weekend, to make a beautiful card for one of the patients at St. Jude Hospital for Valentine's Day. I love you all. I love y'all, whether I see you, know you, or not. I love you. Happy Valentine's Day, and may you get all the love and hugs and kisses that you desire. Until next time, my friends, I will see you next time.